Chapter 16. The Man in the Shadows. This time, she was not just a visitor, but like someone in it with him. Days were spent at the bar, at Ronan's office, surrounded by blueprints and contracts and problems that refused to solve themselves. Nights were quieter, heavier, but more honest. He started letting her in, slowly, not all at once, but enough. She reviewed documents, asked questions, not as a lawyer stepping in to take over, but as someone standing beside him, helping him see what he couldn't when he was buried in it. And for the first time, everything started falling apart. Ronan didn't feel completely alone, but pressure has a way of building even when things seem steady. And sometimes, it doesn't come from where you expect. It happened in the middle of the afternoon. The bar wasn't crowded, just a few scattered tourists, low music playing, the lazy hum of the ceiling fan overhead. Lily pushed the door open, a folder tucked under her arm, already mid-thought about a clause she wanted to go over with Ronan. "Hey, I think I found something in the—" She stopped. Everything in her stilled. Ronan stood behind the counter, rigid, still. His jaw clenched so tightly she could see the tension from across the room. His eyes, cold, not distant, not distracted. Cold, and across from him sat a man who didn't belong in this place. Tailored suit, polished shoes, a glass of whiskey in hand like he'd been there 100 times, even though Lily knew he hadn't. He carried himself like the room adjusted to him. Not the other way around. Something about him felt sharp, controlled, dangerous in a way that didn't need volume to be felt. Marcus Hale. Lily didn't know how she knew, but she did. Ronan saw her, and in that split second, he gave the smallest shake of his head, a warning. "Don't!" Marcus followed his gaze, turning slowly. His eyes landed on her, assessing in an instant. "You must be Lily." His voice was smooth. Too smooth. Lily straightened slightly, forcing calm into her expression as she stepped forward. "Mr. Hale." He stood, extending his hand. "I've heard things." There was something deliberate in the pause. A test. She met it without flinching, shaking his hand firmly. "Good things, I hope." He smirked faintly. "We'll see." Ronan moved then, stepping between them. Not aggressively, but clearly. A line drawn. "Why are you here?" he asked, his voice tight. Marcus lifted his glass, taking a slow sip before answering. "Checking on my son." Ronan let out a short, bitter laugh. "You've never checked on me before." "Maybe I'm trying to change." The words sounded rehearsed, empty. Ronan's expression didn't shift. "You don't change." Something flickered in Marcus's eyes. Not anger, amusement, like this was expected, and like Ronan was predictable. His gaze shifted back to Lily. "Be careful, Ms. Hart," he said. "My son has a habit of biting off more than he can chew." Lily felt the edge in the statement. Not concern, a warning disguised as one. Her spine was straightened. "Good thing I'm not afraid of big bites," she replied evenly. Marcus studied for her for a moment. Then, a slow, approving smile. "We'll see how long that lasts." And just like that, he turned and walked out. No goodbye, no explanation. Just presence and absence. Like a storm that passed through without needing to stay. The door shut behind him. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Ronan exhaled shakily, his hand gripping the edge of the counter like it was the only thing keeping him steady. Lily stepped closer, her voice softer now. "Are you okay?" He didn't look at her. "No," he said honestly, "but I will be." She didn't believe him. Not yet. Because she'd seen something on his face she hadn't seen before. Not stress, not fear, something older, deeper, before he could stop it. The past came rushing back. Ronan was 16 the first time he realized his father didn't see him. Not really. The memory was sharp, clear, like it had never faded. He stood in a half-built house, the smell of sawdust thick in the air, sunlight cutting through exposed beams. His hands were dirty, his shirt clinging to his back from hours of work. He'd built something that day, not much, just a frame. But it was his. Marcus walked in without looking around. He didn't notice the structure, didn't notice him. Why aren't you at school? His father asked, already sounding irritated. Ronan wiped his hands on his jeans. I finished early. I wanted to help. This isn't helping, Marcus cut in. This is wasting time. Ronan's chest tightened. I built that, he said, pointing. Marcus glanced at it, briefly, dismissively. It's crooked. The word landed like a blow. I can fix it, Ronan said quickly. You shouldn't have done it in the first place. Silence. Heavy and embarrassing. I thought, Ronan started. That's the problem, Marcus said coldly. You think too small. That stuck. Years later, it still hadn't let go. There were other moments, always the same pattern. Nothing Ronan did was enough. Not polished enough, not successful enough, not him enough. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't need to. Disappointment, delivered quietly, did more damage. By the time Ronan left home, he'd made himself a promise. I'll build something he can't tear down. Something real. Something his. Something that didn't need approval. And now, standing in the bar he'd created with everything on the line, his father had walked in like none of that history existed. Like he still had the right to judge, to diminish, to define him. Ronan, Lilly said gently, pulling him back to the present. He blinked, the memory fading, but the weight remained. She stepped closer, her hand resting lightly on his arm. You don't have to face him the way you used to? His jaw tightened. You don't know him. Then help me understand, she said softly. That stopped him, because no one had ever asked that before. Not like that, not without judgment, not without assumption. He looked at her, really looked at her. And for the first time since his father walked in, the tension in his chest shifted, just slightly. He doesn't think I'm enough, Ronan said quietly. Lilly didn't hesitate. I do. The certainty in her voice hit harder than anything else that day. And for a moment, that was enough to steady him. Not fix everything, not erase the past, but ground him in something real, something stronger than the shadow Marcus Hale had just left behind.